The Lumber Liquidators Marathon Open is brought to you by Lumber Liquidators, hardwood flooring for less. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. By Bear Aspirin, expect wonders. And by Go RVing. Visit GoRVing.com for a free video. Go affordably. Go RVing. And we welcome you back to AMF Country Club Lanes here in Baltimore, Maryland. The 4th consecutive season that the PBA has been at this venue. The 27th PBA stop here in the great bowling city of Baltimore. We're about midway through match number 1 between last year's Player of the Year, Wes Malott, and Brad Angelo. Angelo on top by 1. The Big Nasty set to close out the 6th, looking for a 3-bagger.
Yeah, and the reason why he's trailing is he flagged a 10-pin in the 3rd. Otherwise, he'd be leading by 11.
Come on, Wes. Get slow.
He has trouble right at the foul line. A little timing issue again. We talked about how he's been struggling with this, and watch him fall off of this shot immediately. Quite honestly, it's not a very good break in terms of pin carry, but I think it's a big break just hitting the pocket.
Wes takes care of that single pin spare conversion. Time now for the winning touch, brought to you by Touch of Gray. Gets rid of some gray, never all. And this week's winning touch takes us back to last season's Marathon Open, which was won by today's 5-seed Wes Malott. Helped Wes earn Player of the Year honors. He won 3 titles last season while making a tour best 9 TV finals. So Wes, your reigning champion here at the Marathon Open. Here he is to open up the 7th off of a spare in the 6th.
Much better.
You like that one, and for good reason.
Isn't it amazing? You're talking about a feel sport where he can feel it right off his hand immediately. As soon as it leaves those fingertips, he knows it's perfect.
Angelo steps up now, the lead at 2. Wes, 5 strikes, just 3 for Brad.
I swear that's the only reason why you re-rack.
I know, I like
just
the
so
song.
you can get the music.
I like the song.
A re-rack and the
Gotta pat your foot. It makes me think of like Pink Panther or...
house turns into a jazz club.
All right. Ready?
I started feeling a little melancholy.
Did you? Yeah.
When that music came on.
Maybe some beat poetry will go down here in a moment.
I like it.
Right through the nose there.
Yeah, and you heard him talk about how he has to get it through that spot, and you can see that time his bowling ball checked way too early and never pushed down the lane. The good news is he's working on a strike so he doesn't lose count. The bad news, he's got to shoot the 3-6-10, not a give me.
So he takes care of it. Head on over to PBA.com right now and submit your More of What Matters to You fan question of the day. It's brought to you by the good folks over at One A Day, and you can direct your question to either Chris Barnes or the booth, which is always dangerous. You and I getting a question.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Understatement.
All right. Go on over to PBA.com. Click on the One A Day logo to submit your question. We begin the 8th. Angelo. Up 2 and leaves the 10.
Now the lead just 1 if he converts the 10-pin. But, you know, you take a look at the 5 players that are on today's telecast, and it goes just great with the theme, I believe. Brad Angelo and Wes Malott, obviously both players proving that they can play on just about any oil pattern. Chris Barnes, obviously, arguably one of the best, if not the best player out here. Pete Weber, well, you don't win 34 times without being versatile. The interesting note, Mike Scroggins, not known for versatility, admitted that he didn't play well in the shark oil pattern earlier in the week, but yet somehow found a way
You gonna dance?
Where's my music?
to do what he does best and play the outside
You
part
gotta
of the
dance.
lane.
Let's see it. Big Nasty.
So Wes asked
Big Nasty
for a
showing his
re-rack.
moves.
Yeah, this is a little more club atmosphere than the Jazz.
Ain't got no
Guys are
moves.
loose, man.
You got that right.
That's what happens. Last
You can tell it's the end of the season.
end of the season, last stop on the tour. So Malott down 1. Here's his effort in the 8th off of a strike. Right of target and a tough lead for him. Again, we showed you those averages earlier in the show of the 5 finalists. West, by far, the lowest average on this Dick Weber oil pattern, averaging a 198.71. And not only was it the worst of the 5 finalists, it was the worst of the 7 oil patterns that he had to bowl on this week. We asked him, all right, well, what kind of adjustments do you need to make? The word he used, pray.
Good day for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. His second air ball.
Again, it's the timing thing with Wes Malott. You see the first shot, or excuse me, the shot prior when he flushed it, and as soon as he let go of this shot here, he knows it's bad. The same thing with the first shot when he left the 210. He knew it was bad immediately out of his hand. Now the only chance, in my opinion, he has of winning this match is by striking out. That would give him 212. Brad Angelo's still only in the 2-0s, 207 to be exact.
So an open frame for Wes in the 3rd and the 8th. Here he is in the 9th.
Just looked really fast and really firm.
And Angelo is in great shape to move on to take on the 3 seed Chris Barnes.
One day you'll quit outballing yourself.
Again, your number 1 seed Mike Scroggins practicing behind this set. Should he win the title match, Scroggins will be your PBA Player of the Year for the first time in his career.
You know what's scary, though, about Wes Malott is he makes telecasts when he's not bowling well. And when he is bowling well, I don't think there's a player on tour that creates as much room and strikes as much as Wes Malott. His carry percentage is amazing, and he creates more area on the lane than I feel any player out on the tour.
Well, we were really spoiled watching him last season, the kind of
Get this back. Regroup for next year.
season he had, and you talk him, let's regroup for next year. You heard that from a lot of the guys this week. Hey, I need some momentum now to get me going into next year. The Japan Cup is still out there and some other events, but guys are already looking forward to next season. It'll be an interesting season next year for sure. Strike number 4. And match number 1 for Angelo. Lead at 15.
Sorry, Rob, and that's the adjustment from the 7th frame where he left the 3-6-10. He moved in, made sure he pushed the ball through the front part of the lane, and it faces up nicely. The other thing about Brad Angelo's game is, obviously, you see the great balance, but he's got that voodoo kind of roll. You know, he's got that little spin biscuit kind of roll that really makes the ball push down the lane and then finish hard in the back.
And I find it interesting whenever I watch him bowl. You almost look, when he's approaching, the hand is on top of the ball. It's like the palm is facing down, and then he makes that adjustment. You made a point earlier this season. Whatever you're comfortable with on your approach, straighten it out at the end.
Are you kidding me?
Leaves the 8.
Yeah, twice on the left lane. Brad Angelo needs mark and 6, and he will advance. But, I mean, this is daddy lockups right here. If he strikes, he would be in the 2 teens, and it would be over. That's just not a good break. Getting back to his hand on top of the ball, primarily uses that for his spare shot.
Right.
And it's something that he just has found that works for him. And
he didn't really show it there. We saw it earlier in the match.
He wasn't throwing his straight ball. Okay, he does it for a straight ball. He gets his hand on top of it and weakens his grip. Hey, and it's just something that works for him. I think that's the beauty of this sport. All of these players come in different shapes, sizes, and styles.
Something we saw last week as well in Long Island. Needs 6 for the win.
He showed you the hand thing right there.
Shows the hand, blows up the rack, and moves on to match number 2. So Malott will close out in the 10th, his final frame of the season, the final frame as reigning Player of the Year. And what are your thoughts on the Big Nasty season?
Well, I think Wes is going to go home and regroup, and he's going to say, you know what? And he said it in his soundbite. Hey, if I can have this kind of a season with my B game.
I'm fighting through this too myself, so let's get strong, let's get together and get back on the right track, both of us. With you, buddy. Thinking about you.
That was a shout out again to his friend Lionel Jordan in New Mexico.
And in finishing my thought, he's going to go home and regroup. He's going to figure out what he needs to change or work on in his physical game. He's had a taste of the good life, Rob. He had a taste of it last season, and that was, you know, once you get to that level, boy, you're not satisfied with anything else.
So Wes is done. Up next, another former PBA Player of the Year, Chris Barnes, getting loose. And he said a title today would bail out his season. Can Chris Barnes win for the first time this season? The 3 seed takes to the wood when we return. This is the PBA live on ESPN. Chris Barnes getting set to take on your 4 seed, Brad Angelo, the winner, to take on Pete Weber.